For 243 days, a lonely sign hung on the front of the old school building. On some days, a child would come, look at the sign, then sadly walk away. Or else a child would come, look at the sign, stand on her head, bump, then sadly walk away. We zoom out and we can see Lewis, the custodian, looking at the children, but too sad to actually interact with them. He walks off towards the playground. We go into a pan. It starts off in the present day, then flashes into a flashback as we see the children running around and having fun. Then we flash back into the present day. We see Lewis's reaction to this as he's saddened. Then he closes his eyes as he remembers. Here we see him putting the sign on the school in the first place, upside down, of course. This shot fades into this shot as Todd is in a school bus now as it drives away. A bunch of kids are loading into school buses, one child for each school bus. We go into the next shot and Lewis is trying to deal with the cow problem. He pushes against the cows, pulls against the cows. We see him shoveling up their dung and mopping, and he slips. We see the teacher's lounge. The door opens. Lewis is walking across the teacher's lounge in a pan shot and he marks day 54 onto the chalkboard and flops down onto the couch, going to sleep. Now we see the second story. The door opens and Lewis is full of hope and now shock and horror as he sees just how big the cow problem is. Outside the building we hear a and then Lewis comes barreling out of the window at high speed and a lot of the foul odor as well. He tries to catch himself and now he's trying to catch his breath. Takes a deep breath, holds his nose and goes back in. Fades back as Lewis is finished with his work, exhausted. He's thinking about giving up, but we're seeing what he's thinking. A bunch of children in a prison instead of a school. This shocks him back to work. He scoops up dung and throws it out the window. There's a pause. Then he throws a cow out the window. There's a pause. Timidly, Lewis walks up to the window, noticing what he's done. Lewis has another pan shot as he writes day 233 on the chalkboard and flops down onto the couch. Lewis slowly gets up, covers his ears. It can't be real, it can't be real, it can't be real. He's already cleaned out all the cows, from top to bottom of the building. He lets go of his ears. Doesn't hear anything. He goes back to sleep. Lewis is wandering through the school, double-checking his work. It's spotless. Looks good. He's proud of his work. Can't be real, can't be real, can't be real. He walks outside, takes the sign off the door. We get a pan as he walks across the yard, drops into the wastebasket, and walks away. The narrator says, "But before you enter, there's something you should know about Wayside School." Zoom out and we see the full building. Wayside School is a 30-story building with one room on each floor, except there is no 19th story. Bing, 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 bing. Mrs. Jules teaches on the 30th story. Ms. Zarvis teaches on the 19th story. There is no Mrs. Zarvis. Huh? There is no 19th story. Understand? Good. Explain it to me? Lewis is admiring his work. The school is finally open. "Hey, Lewis!" Lewis turns to see. Poof! And gets tackled. "Hey, Sherry. I bet you're glad to be back." "You bet, Lewis. Now I can finally get some sleep." Lewis looks up to see a bunch of the students are now arriving. He sees John and Joe as they walk up and they say,
"Hi, old pal. Hey, good buddy."
Then we cut to see Calvin. He goes, "BB!" And he runs off. And then BB turns around and goes, "Calvin!" And she runs off. Calvin's running. BB's running. They slam right into each other and fall out of frame as the Erics walk up. Eric Ovens says, "Hi, Eric. Good to see you."
"Good to see you, too. Oh, look. There's Eric."
"Hi, Eric. Hi, Eric. Hi, Eric."
"Hi, Eric."
Then Kathy barges through the meeting to the Erics, storming right into the camera. The camera backs up to keep pace with her. As she passes Myron, she pats him on the back and says, "Hey, big ears." She passes Damien, she holds her nose and says,
"What's up, Smelly?"
Cupping her hands around her mouth and walking backwards, she yells, "You didn't shower for 243 days, did you?" Walking back towards camera again, she stands confidently and says, "Hi, Allison. Did you get uglier while you were away, or were you always this ugly and I forgot?" We cut to see Allison, who's hurt to hear that, and smiles and says, "Hi, Kathy. That's a nice sweater." Kathy rolls her eyes, which lets her notice Terrence. She says,
I'm sure glad to see you, Terrence.
Terrence walks up and says, "You are?" She says, "Yeah, I thought you'd be in jail by now." One last bus drives up, bursts out the doors as soon as they open, running straight towards the camera. Sherry yells, "Hi, Todd!" right into Lewis's ear. Todd is running at full speed right past everyone, right past Jason, who says, "Hey, Todd, good to see you," right past Myron and DJ, who say, "Hi, Todd," right past Lewis and Sherry, right up to the doors of Wayside School, giving it a big old kiss, and falling back. The narrator continues. Out of all the schools, Todd had been sent to the very worst one. It was awful. The first thing he had to do every morning was, "Wait a second. I don't have to tell you. You already know. Todd was sent to your school."